All right, let's get into it. Today, we are diving headfirst into one of archaeology's greatest puzzles, the Indus Valley Script. But here's the twist. The solution we're exploring is absolutely radical. It's a theory that claims there's a single, unified code connecting these ancient symbols, our own brain cells, and even modern computer hardware. So let's start with the one question that turns this whole mystery on its head. For more than 100 years, we've been trying to read the Indus script like a language. But what if that's the wrong approach entirely? What if it's not a language, but something else completely? Okay, so for a little context, let's remember who we're talking about. The Indus Valley Civilization was one of the world's first massive urban cultures, thriving more than 4,000 years ago. And they left behind thousands of artifacts covered in this beautiful, complex script. The problem? Nobody can read it. So, why is this script so darn tough to crack? Well, for one, there are over 400 unique signs, but, and this is the real kicker, they mostly show up on these tiny seals in super short strings. The average is just 5 signs long. That's just not enough material for the kind of analysis that helps us decipher other ancient languages. It's kind of like trying to understand all of English by only reading airport codes. It's almost impossible. So, with linguistics pretty much hitting a wall, the source material we're looking at today comes in with a solution from a field you would never expect: neuroscience. The idea is that the key to unlocking these ancient symbols is actually hidden in the way our own brain cells fire. And here it is, the core thesis, straight from the source material. The theory basically says, forget about language. This isn't for writing sentences. Instead, it's something new, what the author calls a branding tensor. You can think of it as an incredibly sophisticated system for economic identity and branding.
So what on earth is a branding tensor? Let's break that down. Stop thinking about letters and words. Instead, think of these signs like an ancient QR code. Every combination on a seal acted like a compressed data packet. It could instantly tell a trader everything they needed to know: who made it, where it came from, its quality, its weight standard, all of that critical information packed into just a few symbols for a huge trade network.
And this is where things get really wild. The claim is that the deep mathematical rules that decide how an Indus sign appears on a seal are actually identical to the rules that make a neuron fire inside your brain. Okay, let's unpack this table, because this is really the beating heart of the whole theory. The author argues this isn't just a loose comparison, it's a direct one-to-one mathematical mapping. See, on the left, you've got the stuff happening in your brain, the neural stack. A neuron can be in a state, right? Well, the theory says that's the same as a single Indus sign or a token. The connection between two neurons, a synapse. In the script, that's just two signs showing up next to each other, a bigram. And here's the biggest one: a neuron firing, that action potential, is mathematically the same as a specific sign appearing on a seal. It's the same system, just running on different hardware. This slide really zeroes in on that core idea. You see, in neuroscience, there's this fundamental rule called the all or none law. A neuron either fires completely or it doesn't fire at all. There's no half firing. Well, this theory says the Indus script works the exact same way, with a rule of formula completeness. A sequence of signs is either a valid, complete economic statement, kind of like a barcode that scans properly, or it's just gibberish. The underlying logic is identical. It either works or it doesn't. Okay, so if we accept this new framework, what does it actually help us solve? Well, the claim is that it unlocks the two biggest mysteries of the Indus script. First, their strange obsession with unicorns, and second, the meaning of that giant signboard found at the city of Dolavira. First up, the unicorn problem. I mean, look at this chart. A staggering 60% of all seals ever found feature this one-horned animal. Why? If this was a language, that would be like 60% of all our books having the word the or the name John as the main subject. It just doesn't make any sense. The theory's answer? The unicorn isn't a mythical creature. It's the system's master brand. Think of it like the ancient version of the Intel Inside sticker, or the little verified by Visa logo. It was the ultimate stamp of authority and trust in the trade network. In mathematical terms, it was the primary inventor of the whole system, the single most important piece. And that leads us to mystery number 2, the famous Dolavira signboard. These 10 huge signs were found right at the gate of a major city. This theory says it wasn't a king's name or some "Welcome to Dolavira" sign. No, it was the genesis block of the entire economic system, the foundational code that set the rules for everybody. So what did it actually do? Well, picture yourself as a merchant arriving at this huge city. You would look up at this sign to calibrate your weights and measures, literally syncing your tools to the global standard. It was a public broadcast of the network's trusted rules, a master clock, making sure that the whole massive economic system stayed fair and worked for everyone. From here, the scope of this whole framework just explodes. The author argues this isn't just about neurons and seals anymore. It's a single unifying idea that connects philosophy, math, biology, and even modern computer chips. This diagram really shows you the full ambition of the theory. It argues that a single core mathematical process, something called tensor recursion, just keeps showing up in totally different places. It starts as an abstract theological concept, gets modeled in biology by a firing neuron, we find it in archaeology as the Indus script, and we can even build it today and run it on a modern computer chip, an FGPA. And this table really lays it all out. All of these fields that we think of as completely separate, neuroscience, archaeology, hardware design, even theology, are, according to this theory, all running on the exact same operating system. The electrical spike in your brain and a symbol carved into a 4,000-year-old seal are just different expressions of the very same underlying code. Which leaves us with this final, mind-bending question. Could it be that the logic that governs our thoughts, the system that organized ancient economies, and the principles we use to build our most advanced computers are all just different dialects of a single universal code? According to this theory, the answer has been hidden in plain sight for over 4,000 years.